Before the Victorian era transformed our festive calendar, Christmas, or rather the winter solstice celebrations that preceded it, bore little resemblance to the family-centric holiday we recognize today. For centuries, across Britain and much of Europe, the depths of winter were marked by boisterous revelry, a chaotic release from the harsh realities of the season. These were not quiet evenings by a hearth, but often rowdy public affairs, deeply steeped in ancient pagan traditions and communal abandon. Imagine dimly lit taverns, thick with pipe smoke and the din of drunken laughter. Villagers, their faces ruddy from ale and cold, gathered not around a decorated tree, but tables laden with simple, hearty fare and overflowing tankards. Mummers, often masked and dressed in tattered finery, performed crude plays, their voices competing with the cacophony of fiddle music and raucous singing. These celebrations were less about sentimentality and more about survival, a desperate, often crude attempt to ward off the gloom of winter with excessive consumption and uninhibited merriment. Homes, too, reflected this raw, less refined approach. Decorations, if present, were often sparse, a few sprigs of holly, ivy, or mistletoe, pulled directly from the frozen landscape. The giving of gifts were sporadic and largely informal, often limited to small practical tokens exchanged between lords and their tenants or within the immediate family. The focus was intently on feasting, drinking, and community bonds forged in the brutal face of the long night. The concept of a quiet, intimate family gathering centered around a beautifully adorned evergreen was virtually unknown, a distant echo in the grand halls of power, let alone the common folks' cottages. The spirit of these pre-Victorian festivities was one of pure release and defiance against winter's unforgiving grip. It was a time when social norms could be temporarily inverted, and the boundaries between merrymaking and outright disorder often blurred significantly. This was a Christmas of the common people, for the common people, earthy, unpolished, and a world away from the refined, idealized vision that would soon emerge under the profound influence of a young queen and her German prince. This unpolished, communal Christmas, however, was about to meet its match in the form of a quiet revolution, sparked not in a bustling tavern, but within the hallowed private chambers of Windsor Castle. The catalyst was a young man from Saxe-Coburg and Gotha, Prince Albert, Queen Victoria's beloved consort. Raised with the festive customs of his native Germany, Albert carried with him a cherished tradition, the Tannenbaum, or Christmas tree. For centuries, decorated evergreens had been a part of Germanic winter celebrations, symbolizing life amidst the cold, dark days. Yet This custom was largely unknown in Britain, where the concept of a domestic illuminated tree as the centerpiece of Christmas was utterly novel. It was in December of 1840 that Prince Albert, with a quiet determination and an endearing hope, decided to share this piece of his homeland with his new family. Imagine the scene: a hushed, grand drawing room within the castle, perhaps subtly lit by a flickering fire and the soft glow of gas lamps. Into this space, a small but beautifully formed evergreen tree was brought, its scent of pine a fresh, unexpected presence. Albert, with a gentle smile, began to adorn it with items both simple and exquisite. Delicate wax candles, gingerbread, sweetmeats, and small gifts, all arranged meticulously. Queen Victoria, initially perhaps curious, watched with fascination. Her young children, still toddlers, their eyes wide with wonder at this enchanting display. It was an intimate moment, a private family ritual unfolding away from the public eye. This wasn't a decree or a grand public spectacle, but a tender, personal gesture, an act of love and cultural sharing that would, unwittingly, ignite a transformation across an entire nation. The tree, shimmering with its modest lights, became a beacon of warmth and familial affection, a stark contrast to the boisterous, often unruly celebrations of old. This gentle introduction of the Tannenbaum to the British monarchy marked the subtle yet profound beginning of a new era of Christmas, one that prioritized domestic harmony, childlike wonder, and the quiet joy of family gatherings, all initiated by a prince's simple, heartfelt gift from his past. What began as a private family tradition within Windsor Castle soon blossomed into a nationwide phenomenon, transforming the very fabric of British Christmas celebrations. The year was 1848, and the world was changing rapidly with the advent of mass media. It was then that the Illustrated London News, a powerhouse of visual journalism, published an engraving that would forever etch the Christmas tree into the public consciousness. This iconic image depicted Queen Victoria, Prince Albert, and their children gathered around a magnificent, heavily decorated evergreen. The scene was one of idyllic domesticity, radiating warmth, joy, and familial affection, values the burgeoning middle class yearned to embrace. The impact was immediate and profound. Suddenly, what was once an obscure German custom became an aspirational symbol of royal approval and refined taste. British families eager to emulate their beloved monarch began to seek out and adorn their own evergreen trees. From grand stately homes to humble terraced houses, the Christmas tree, laden with candles, trinkets, and small gifts, became the sparkling centerpiece of the holiday season. The Christmas tree, popularized by the royal family, reinforced a more child-centric, family-oriented vision of Christmas, a stark departure from the boisterous, adult-focused revelries of the past. It encouraged a focus on innocence, wonder, and the creation of cherished memories within the home. The glittering tree, standing proudly in parlors across the land, became a tangible representation of Victorian ideals, piety, domesticity, and the moral upliftment of society. Its widespread adoption solidified its place not just as a decoration, but as an integral, beloved ritual. Thus, through the quiet influence of a queen and her prince, the Royal Evergreen branched out, taking root in the hearts and homes of millions, forever changing how Britain, and eventually much of the world, celebrated Christmas. The transformation of Christmas wasn't limited to the parlor. It also revitalized the soundscape of the season. For centuries, traditional carols had largely faded from public consciousness, often relegated to obscure folk traditions or church services. However, the Victorian era, with its fervent interest in reviving ancient customs and its emphasis on domestic harmony, provided the perfect fertile ground for their triumphant return. Publishers, recognizing the growing appetite for festive material, began to print collections of these forgotten melodies. Compilers like William Sandys and Thomas Helmore painstakingly unearthed and transcribed old tunes, making them accessible to a wider audience than ever before, fostering a sense of shared heritage. Suddenly, the bustling streets of Victorian Britain, especially during the festive period, began to resonate with familiar, yet newly popular sounds. Groups of carol singers, often humble folk seeking a few coins or a warm drink, would gather on cobblestone corners, their breath visible in the frosty air. Dressed in their modest best, perhaps with a flickering lantern casting a soft glow on their faces, they would serenade passers-by with timeless songs such as God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen and The First Noel. These performances were more than just entertainment. They were a communal experience, weaving a thread of shared tradition through the gaslit streets and bringing warmth to the cold December nights. The sight and sound of carolers became an iconic symbol of the season, cementing the idea of Christmas as a time of goodwill, community, and musical celebration. This public outpouring of song mirrored the private family gatherings around the newly popularized Christmas tree, creating a holistic tapestry of festive experience. The carols, once nearly lost to history, were not merely revived, they were reinvented for a new age. Their simple melodies and profound messages perfectly complementing the evolving spirit of Victorian Christmas. Through the concerted efforts of scholars, publishers, and earnest street performers, the carol returned, a resonant, harmonious legacy that continues to echo in our modern celebrations, a testament to the enduring power of communal song. While the sounds of carols filled the air outside, indoors, the Victorian home was transforming into a sanctuary of festive warmth and tradition. The adoption of evergreen decorations such as holly, ivy, and mistletoe became widespread, bringing the vibrant green of nature into the domestic sphere during the cold, gray winter. These customs, echoing ancient pagan and Roman winter solstice rites, were reinterpreted through a Victorian lens, infusing them with new significance. Holly, with its prickly leaves and red berries, symbolized Christ's crown of thorns and blood, while ivy represented everlasting life. Mistletoe, once associated with fertility and peace in Norse mythology, found its place above doorways, where stolen kisses added a touch of romantic charm to the innocent family festivities, firmly establishing a beloved ritual. Beyond decoration, the very act of gift-giving underwent a profound metamorphosis. Before the Victorian era, gift exchanges were often modest, sometimes crude, and not always centered on Christmas Day. However, the emerging middle class, coupled with advances in manufacturing and retail, redefined this practice. Christmas evolved into the primary occasion for thoughtful and elaborate gift-giving, transforming it from a simple gesture into a formalized ritual. The burgeoning department stores, such as Harrods and Selfridges, became temples of commerce, their windows dazzling with displays of potential treasures, offering an unprecedented array of items that catered to every desire and budget. Children, increasingly central to the Victorian family ideal, became the focal point of this new gift culture. Dolls, toy soldiers, miniature tea sets, and intricate mechanical toys filled their stockings and delighted their hearts. For adults, popular gifts included books, particularly beautifully bound editions, as well as practical household items, elegant trinkets, and personalized handmade crafts. The careful selection, artful wrapping, and ceremonial presentation of these gifts became an integral part of the Christmas experience, emphasizing affection, generosity, and the strengthening of family bonds. The tradition of gathering around the Christmas tree to unwrap presents, a scene now synonymous with the holiday, was meticulously codified during this period. These interior transformations, the fragrant evergreens, the cherished mistletoe, and the joyous exchange of carefully chosen gifts solidified the private, domestic aspect of Christmas that still resonates today. The Victorians meticulously curated an intimate, family-centric celebration, crafting rituals that imbued the home with a unique magic. This blend of ancient custom and modern sentiment created a blueprint for holiday cheer that spread far beyond the British Isles, proving that even the most enduring traditions often begin in the quiet warmth of a family parlor. as the interiors transformed with fragrant evergreens and gift-giving rituals solidified, the heart of the Victorian Christmas experience also found a new expression in the lavish festive spread. Far from the simple, often utilitarian meals of earlier eras, Christmas dinner became a grand culinary spectacle, reflecting the era's burgeoning prosperity and its emphasis on family and domesticity. This was a meal of opulence and abundance, meticulously prepared and presented, designed to bring people together in celebration. The centerpiece of many Victorian Christmas tables was often a magnificent roasted goose, or increasingly a turkey. These birds, once luxuries, became more accessible with improved farming and transportation, symbolizing the feast itself. Alongside these majestic roasts, a plethora of traditional dishes emerged, solidifying their place in the holiday canon. Rich, savory pies filled with game or spiced meats, glazed hams, and an array of seasonal vegetables, often grown in new, efficient methods, adorned the table. The sheer variety and quantity spoke to a period of unprecedented access to food for a significant portion of the population. But the sweet course was perhaps where Victorian ingenuity truly shone. The Christmas pudding, a dense, dark, and often flaming dessert, became a focal point. Steeped in brandy and studded with dried fruits, it was traditionally prepared weeks in advance, a true labor of love. Mince pies, once containing actual meat, evolved into sweeter, spiced fruit fillings, their delicate pastry a testament to culinary skill. Elaborate trifles, jellies, and cakes, decorated with confectionery, provided a dazzling array of choices, turning the dessert course into an artistic display. These dishes weren't just food. They were symbols of hearth, home, and holiday cheer. The ritual of the Christmas dinner extended beyond the food itself. It was a social event, a time for families, sometimes joined by friends or even servants, to gather around a beautifully decorated table. Fine china, polished silver, and crisp linens became essential, elevating the meal to an elegant occasion. The clinking of glasses, the murmur of conversation, and the shared joy of a bountiful feast created an atmosphere of warmth and togetherness that defined the holiday. This intricate dance of culinary tradition and social bonding, meticulously choreographed by the Victorians, laid the foundation for the Christmas dinner traditions that continue to delight us today. While the visual spectacle of the Christmas tree and the culinary delights of the festive spread cemented the holiday's physical presence, another powerful force was simultaneously shaping its very soul: literature. Amidst the burgeoning traditions, one voice in particular captured the evolving spirit of Christmas and etched it indelibly into the cultural consciousness, that of Charles Dickens. His novella, A Christmas Carol, published in 1843, wasn't merely a story. It was a cultural phenomenon that codified and amplified many of the burgeoning Victorian Christmas ideals, imbuing them with profound moral weight and emotional resonance. Dickens himself, a product of the industrial age's social challenges, observed the growing divide and felt a deep desire to encourage charity, compassion, and the spirit of goodwill during the holiday season. He saw Christmas as a potential antidote to the harsh realities of Victorian society, a time for reflection, generosity, and familial warmth. His vivid portrayal of Ebenezer Scrooge's transformation from a miserly recluse to a benevolent patron resonated deeply with a public grappling with social inequality and the rapid changes brought by industrialization. His vivid portrayal of Ebenezer Scrooge's transformation from a miserly recluse to a benevolent patron resonated deeply with a public grappling with social inequality and the rapid changes brought by industrialization. The story's immense popularity ensured that its themes, forgiveness, redemption, and the importance of human connection, became inextricably linked with Christmas itself. The Cratchit family's humble but loving celebration, despite their poverty, underscored the value of domestic bliss and the simple joys of togetherness. Reading A Christmas Carol aloud by the fire became a cherished family ritual, further embedding its messages into the fabric of the season. Dickens' genius lay in his ability to blend existing customs with a powerful moral narrative, creating a vision of Christmas that was both aspirational and deeply human. He popularized phrases like "Merry Christmas" and reinforced the idea of Christmas as a time for generosity, feasting, and reconciliation. He popularized phrases like "Merry Christmas" and reinforced the idea of Christmas as a time for generosity, feasting, and reconciliation. The spirit of A Christmas Carol, with its emphasis on charity, family, and good cheer, became a foundational blueprint, ensuring that the Victorian Christmas, much like Scrooge's transformation, would endure as a timeless legacy. While literature like Dickens's A Christmas Carol solidified Christmas's emotional core, the Industrial Revolution provided the engine for these traditions to spread, transforming customs into widespread phenomena. The Victorian era, defined by rapid technological advancement, saw innovations in manufacturing and communication that democratized holiday cheer, making it accessible to an unprecedented segment of society, beyond the aristocracy and wealthy. Central to this was the printing press. Vastly improved techniques enabled mass production of festive ephemera. The Christmas card, a profoundly impactful invention, emerged from this industrial spark. The first commercially produced Christmas card was sent in London in 1843. The same year, A Christmas Carol was published. Its popularity grew exponentially, fueled by cheaper printing and affordable postal services. Elaborate designs depicting festive scenes, winter landscapes, or humorous illustrations quickly became a cherished means of conveying greetings and maintaining social ties across distances. Beyond cards, industrial factories hummed with the creation of gifts and decorations. Previously, toys were handmade, luxury items. Now, assembly lines and new materials allowed mass production of dolls, toy soldiers, miniature train sets, and countless novelties. This innovation brought them within reach of the burgeoning middle class and even working-class families. Christmas tree ornaments, once painstakingly handmade, began to be factory-produced from glass and tin, offering wider variety and significantly lower cost, transforming home decor. This industrialization effectively standardized and disseminated the holiday experience. No longer confined to the elite, the cherished symbols and festive rituals Queen Victoria and Prince Albert championed were replicated and distributed across the nation and throughout the British Empire. From the humble greeting card, now affordable for all, to the factory-made toy under every tree, the Victorian industrial spark ignited a consumer culture around Christmas that laid the blueprint for the global celebration we recognize today. It was truly the era where Christmas became a holiday for everyone, widely delivered by the efficiency and power of the machine age. The industrial spark that ignited Christmas across Britain quickly extended its reach, carried on the vast tides of the British Empire. As Queen Victoria's reign coincided with the zenith of imperial expansion, new traditions, once confined to royal drawing rooms or London's bustling streets, now found their way to distant shores with remarkable speed. The extensive network of colonial administration, established trade routes, and zealous missionary efforts became powerful conduits for disseminating these evolving customs globally. British expatriates, civil servants, soldiers, and merchants scattered across continents meticulously brought their cherished holiday practices with them. They celebrated Christmas in India, Canada, Australia, and countless other territories, consciously recreating a comforting piece of home and cultural identity far from their homeland. The ubiquitous Christmas card, now affordable and mass-produced in Britain, sailed across oceans, delivering festive greetings to families separated by thousands of miles, bridging vast distances. Gifts, from factory-made dolls and toy soldiers to decorative ornaments, followed these same global shipping networks, making Christmas commerce an international affair. Missionaries, too, played a significant role, integrating Christmas celebrations into their evangelistic efforts, introducing the concept of a winter festival, reinterpreted through a Christian lens to indigenous populations. The immense prestige associated with British culture and the royal family further cemented the widespread adoption of these traditions. What was done in Windsor Castle soon became an aspirational benchmark in far-flung outposts of the empire. Imagine a Christmas tree not in a European drawing room, but proudly adorned in a colonial bungalow in Bengal, or a rugged mining town in South Africa, or a remote homestead on the Australian frontier. These traditions were not always adopted wholesale. Rather, local customs often blended with the imported, creating unique, hybrid expressions. But the core elements, the decorated evergreen tree, formalized gift-giving, joyous caroling, and a profound focus on family, took firm root. Thus, the British Empire, primarily an agent of political and economic control, also became an unwitting, yet profoundly powerful cultural diffuser. Victoria's Christmas, born in England, blossomed into a truly global phenomenon, its roots spreading across continents, forever altering the fabric of winter celebrations worldwide, laying the groundwork for the universally recognized holiday we celebrate today. From the far-flung outposts of the British Empire, we return home, not just to England, but to the very essence of Christmas as we know it today. The journey from a scattered collection of winter solstice customs to a globally recognized celebration is a testament to the powerful influence of a single monarch and her consort. Queen Victoria and Prince Albert didn't invent Christmas, but their preferences and their royal embrace of certain traditions codified and amplified practices that resonated deeply with a burgeoning middle class seeking domestic stability and moral elevation. Their vision, disseminated by the age's technological and imperial might, truly forged the modern Christmas. Look closely at our contemporary Christmas. What do you see? A beautifully decorated evergreen tree, laden with ornaments and twinkling lights, stands as the centerpiece of family gatherings. This direct descendant of Prince Albert's German Tannenbaum remains iconic. Beneath it, carefully wrapped gifts await, reflecting the formalized ritual of exchange that Victoria popularized. Families gather for festive meals, sharing roast meats and sweet puddings, a tradition whose culinary foundations were solidified in Victorian Britain. The air is often filled with the sound of carols, sung in homes, on streets, and in churches, many of which were either composed or revitalized during her reign. Children, eyes wide with anticipation, anticipate visits from a benevolent, white-bearded figure, a composite of ancient folklore and Victorian imagery, often inspired by Clement Clarke Moore and enhanced by illustrators like Thomas Nast. Homes are adorned with holly, ivy, and mistletoe, their festive symbolism deeply rooted in Victorian domestic aesthetics. The very spirit of togetherness, generosity, and familial warmth, the Christmas spirit itself, was meticulously cultivated and championed throughout the Victorian era, particularly through popular literature like Dickens' A Christmas Carol. Indeed, the enduring legacy of Queen Victoria's Christmas is not merely in the objects or the rituals, but in the sentiment. It transformed a fragmented holiday into a universal family-centric event, emphasizing love, charity, and goodwill. So, as we gather with loved ones this festive season, surrounded by the familiar sights and sounds of Christmas, let us remember the quiet revolution orchestrated from Windsor Castle. The echoes of Victoria's reign resonate profoundly in every ornament, every carol, and every shared moment of joy. Truly, her Christmas, refined and spread, became our Christmas. What aspects of this rich history will you carry forward?